Welcome to Sportscaster News. It's Friday, and tomorrow on the 6th, you are going to have, you're going to have a bunch of award celebrations, right? You're going to have the MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, all these other stuff. But let's not take a moment, right? And let's honor those guys that are going to be inducted in the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame, the class of 2021, right? Let's go figure these guys out. And more importantly, let's talk about the 4 first-year finalists, the guys that can actually get in for the first time, and they're finalists. And in my opinion, one of those rare occasions where all 4 of those first-timers are first ballot Hall of Famers. All 4 of them should be inducted, period. Now, there's 15 total players plus modern day era players, plus 3 of, the senior staff. Now, the senior staff is there, and you got guys like Drew Pearson and Bill Nunn and Tom Flores, and absolutely one of those guys should at least make it. I'm surprised that Drew Pearson or Tom Flores hasn't made it already, but we'll see at least one of those guys. Now, for a total, the modern day eras, you got Jared Allen, Ronde Barber, Tony Boselli, LeRoy Butler, Alan Faneca, right? Torry Holt, Calvin Johnson, John Lynch, right? John Lynch, Peyton Manning, Clay Matthews, Sam Mills, Richard Seymour, Zach Thomas, Charles Woodson, and Reggie Wayne. Now, the 4 guys that are first years, Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Jared Allen, and Calvin Johnson, as I said earlier, should, without any doubt in my mind, be inducted on their first year. And let's go look over their careers and actually see what we're talking about. I mean, let's start off simple facts. Jared Allen, drafted by Kansas City in 2004, played out his rookie contract there, ended up with a ton of sacks in his first 4 years. 9, 11, 7.5, 15.5, his first 4 years. Wow, that alone is an amazing feat. All right. He was a smaller guy, known mainly for his ability to just not give up, right? And Jared Allen, when he went to Minnesota, continued that and had a very good career in Minnesota. I mean, 14.5 sacks, then 14.5 sacks, then 11, then 22, 12, 11.5. So legitimately, those first 10 seasons of his career, he never had less, not once, had less than 9 sacks. And that was his rookie year. Well, no, I take that back. 2006, he had 7.5. Okay. So he had 7.5 and then 9.5 and then 11 was his weakest seasons in 9 years. And then, of course, he started to come to the end of his career, went to Chicago, went to Carolina in 2015 in a trade from Chicago, or Chicago let him go. Ended up going to Carolina. He went to the Super Bowl, but obviously we remember what happened with that whole situation. He wasn't the pass rusher that made big names in that. That was Von Miller on his quarterback, Cam Newton. But, I mean, that was 13 or 12 years. That was at the end of his 12-year career. And Jared Allen, in his first 10 seasons, he missed 3 games in 10 seasons. 3 games. Iron Man. Wow. ended up with over 136 sacks for his career. He had 641 tackles, 497 of those by his lonesome. Okay? And that's on the D-line. The man was a stud. And absolutely, without he had 69 stuffs. Let's not forget about that as well. He had 69 stuffs in his career. That's meaning he stopped a run at or behind the line of scrimmage 69 times to go along with the 136 sacks and the 31 forced fumbles and the 19 fumble recoveries. Oh, and by the way, as a defensive lineman, dude had 6 picks. 6. You can't tell me this Iron Man of a defensive lineman should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. No question in my mind. None. If you have any questions on that, let me know in the comments. All right. If you agree with me, smash that like button. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please take a moment, smash that like button, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you're notified next time I go live or upload a video. I go live once a week, at least 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday. And I upload videos all the time for the entire NFL. So please, give me a follow, smash that like button, and until next time, have a good one. Let's get on to the next guy. Charles freaking Woodson. Bookended his career in Oakland. All right. No longer Oakland. They're Las Vegas. But he bookended it in Oakland. Started it off in 1998. Ended it in 2015. In between there, he was in Green Bay. Had a heck of a career in Green Bay, too. All right. Let's talk about that long career. 18 seasons in the NFL. As a cornerback. This isn't a quarterback. This is a defensive player that played 18 years in the NFL. Are you kidding me? Holy crap. And it's not like his last year was absolutely horrid. He had 5 picks his last year in 2015. 5. What? Holy crap. He has more touchdowns than most players who come in offensively. All right. He had 11 interception touchdowns. 11 pick sixes. What? 33 forced fumbles, 16 forced fumble recoveries, 65 interceptions for his career. And as a cornerback, he had 37 stuffs. 37. Let's not talk about how many passes defense does a cornerback get in his career. 80? 100? Maybe. This man had 202 passes defensed. 202. 1,204 total tackles. 981 of them solo. Yeah. What a career. Started off in Oakland in 98. Earned that big extension in 2001. Played through that extension until 2005, in which then he went to Green Bay. Had a heck of a career in Green Bay as well. I mean, he had a monster career in Green Bay. Very first year he went to Green Bay, All-Pro. 8 picks. Then 4 picks the next year, 7 picks the year after that, 9 picks the year after that, then 2, then 7, then it went down to 1. All right. But this man, in 2, 4, 7 years, had 38 interceptions in 7 years. 38 interceptions in the 7 years that he played in Green Bay. What? That's averaging what, about 5.5 picks a year? Wow. That's impressive. That's utter dominance. I'm just saying, let alone the passes defense. This man could cover anyone. Didn't matter who it was. Was he a tight end? Was he a wide receiver? Was he a number one, a big dude like Calvin Johnson? Or was he a fast guy? You know? It didn't matter who it was. This man was covering him. Speaking of Calvin Johnson, he covered him too, because, I mean, Green Bay, Detroit, right? And still had those numbers in Green Bay. There's no doubt in my mind that Charles Woodson should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. If you agree with me, again, please smash that like button. If you don't, drop a comment. Tell me why you don't think he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Speaking of that Detroit Lion, Calvin Johnson, you know, the guy who was like, I am so sick of this organization that I am going to retire after 9 seasons, 9 years. And he was at the top of his game. Jeez. First year, 48 receptions in 2007. Had a 15.8 yards per reception average. 4 touchdowns. 756 yards. That's his rookie year. Then it blew up. 1,331 yards. 12 touchdowns. The year after that, just shy of 1,000 because he only played 14 games in 2009. Only 14 games that year, 984 yards. Still had a solid receiving average, 14.7, 5 touchdowns. Year after that, 1,120 yards, 12 touchdowns. The year after that, let's talk about some numbers. 1,681 yards. What? 16 touchdowns as a wide receiver? What? How about 2012? When he had 19, he almost broke the 2,000-yard mark in 2012. You know, the year that all those quarterbacks got drafted, right? 1,964 yards. 16.1 yards per average, 5 touchdowns. Holy crap. And he did that on 122 receptions. There was no one else on that team for anyone to throw to. It was all Megatron. And Megatron did it. 2013, another down year. Only was able to play 14 games. Still 1,492 yards and 12 touchdowns. What? In 14 games? How about the year after that when he played only 13 games? The season he played the least amount in. All right? Still broke 1,000 yards. 1,077 in 13 games. 8 touchdowns. Wow. Now in 2015, he had that comeback year, right? It was a little less for him. It was his least yards per reception average that he's ever had. He only had 88 receptions for only 1,214 yards and only 9 touchdowns. And then he was like, I'm done. I'm done with this. The Detroit Lions are not an organization that is looking to help players out, get them defenses and run games and offensive lines for and help at the wide receiver. Because you might have one good wide receiver. You might have a decent quarterback with Matt Stafford throwing to you in 2015 and earlier. But that doesn't mean anything when you ain't got help at the running back position or an offensive line to protect your quarterback. I mean, my goodness, these guys were out there. Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson was out there playing backyard football, making up stuff because they had no help between the two. That was it. They were the Detroit Lions. Now neither of them's there. If you agree with me that you think that Calvin Johnson, even though he retired early, deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, hit that like button, please. If you don't, comment. Tell me, why in the world would you not think that Calvin Johnson, in the few years that he played in the NFL, doesn't deserve to be in that spot? Okay? Because quite frankly, I don't see it. I don't see how you can not think that Calvin Johnson deserves to be in that Hall of Fame first ballot. Now, for this last one, you got what many people would say is the second greatest quarterback to ever play in the NFL. Some will argue the best regular season quarterback in the history of the NFL. Peyton Manning. Drafted in 1998 by the Indianapolis Colts, had a wonderful 13-year career with Indianapolis before he had to have that neck surgery, and then was signed by the Denver Broncos in 2012 and finished off his career in 2015. Peyton Manning owns one of the worst NFL records there is, period. Most interceptions by a rookie quarterback. In his rookie year, 1998, he had a 56% completion percentage, 3,739 yards, 26 touchdowns, but 28 interceptions. That is that record he does not want in his books ever again. His quarterback rating was only 71.2, or passer rating. 71.2. Then after that, it just skyrocketed. Peyton Manning became a legend after his rookie year. Let's talk about jumping 6% on your completion percentages to 62% completion percentage. Over 4,100 yards, 26 touchdowns again, but this time 15 interceptions. 90 quarterback rating. Then another 4,400 yards, 33 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. This man continues to throw for over 4,000 yards all the way until 2005. Let's not forget that 2005 season is the only year besides his rookie year that he did not throw for over 4,000 yards as an Indianapolis Colt. The only year besides his rookie year he did not throw at least 4,000 yards. And what's funny is that is one of his highest passer rating career ever. He only threw for 3,747 yards, but 28 touchdowns to 10 interceptions and a 67% completion percentage. Wow. But only threw for 3,700 yards. Then he went back on that huge long sprint. Let's talk about 06, right? 31 touchdowns, 9 picks. Holy crap. In 04, the man had 49 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. 4,557 yards. This was a career year. 67.6 completion percentage. a 121 passer rating. 121 passer rating for the season. What? That's got to be some kind of joke, right? He went to 2 Super Bowls as an Indianapolis Colt, won one. Won one against the Bears, lost one against the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees. Now, like I said, he didn't play in 2011 because of a neck injury. He had surgery on that thing. 2012, the Indianapolis Colts and him decided to mutually part ways because Indianapolis is like, well, Andrew Luck's coming in. Your career is near the end. And Peyton Manning knew his career is coming closer to an end. He only had 4 or 5 more seasons at his own words. But John Elway and the Denver Broncos was like, all we need is a quarterback. We got everything else. We got a running game. We got a defense. We got wide receivers out there. Peyton, come on over to Denver. So he walks over there. He shakes hands with John Elway, and he goes to 2 more Super Bowls, wins another one. The last one, hey, that 2015 against the Carolina Panthers. We talked about that game earlier, where Von Miller was the defensive player of that game, not Jared Allen. But in Denver, the man had what a season he had. Broke his own record. Broke his own records. Most passing yards in a single season. 5,477 yards passing. Personal best. 55 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And a 68% completion percentage. That was his second year in Denver. That's when he started to realize that Sanders and Thomas were really good targets out there. All right. Now, his last season was not very good. Everybody knows it wasn't very good. It was his worst year statistically as an NFL professional. All right. He only played 10 games. He only threw for about 60% completion percentage, about 2,250 yards, 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and only a 67.9 passer rating. But he got that trophy. He got that trophy and went out on top. Now, if you agree with me that Peyton Manning is the tops on this list, the number 1 guy that should be inducted into the Hall of Fame in this 2021 Hall of Fame class, smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Let me know you agree. And if you don't agree with me, please, like I said before, hit the like button anyhow. I don't care. Hit the dislike button if you disagree with me. But make sure you comment and tell me why, please. And if you like my stream here, if you enjoy what I'm putting out, man, please don't forget to share this stream. Subscribe. I put out streams all the time. That later on today, Friday, 5 p.m. every Friday, I will be putting out my Colts Law podcast where I talk about specifically the Indianapolis Colts. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Sportscaster News talking about the 2021 Hall of Fame NFL class. And as usual, I want you to have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.